everybody, and welcome back to the Let's Talk Sports Show. I am your host, as always, Bodkins. Welcome back. We're back in your lives. We hope everybody had a great 4th of July. We hope everybody was safe. Hopefully everybody came back with all 10 fingers, 10 toes, and then some as we celebrated America's birthday. So hope everybody had a great day. We were going to miss Thursday, but I told our producer, I said, Tanner, I don't care what you say. I got to do a show Thursday because the best UFC, maybe the best UFC card is happening on Saturday. So we got to talk about it. We're going to have some guests coming on talking about to preview UFC 90. But we got the boys with us as always. You know who it is. Always joined with us by none other than Mr. First Down, Sam.
What's up, Nicky Poo?
Sam, what's up? How was the 4th? Did you enjoy it? Did you come back with all 10 fingers? And all right, missing one.
Just one, though.
Yeah.
Just one. Yeah, no, went great. Kids got to see fireworks really for the first time. Yeah, they didn't enjoy the loud noises, but enjoyed the colors by looking over the couch out the window the entire time. Brave children. Brave new world.
Yeah, you're good. Hold on a second. I was got to answer our guest is texting me real fast.
Oh, okay.
Hold on a second.
We'll just stop the show. Everybody.
Yeah.
Just have a little text.
Hey, so let me ask you this. We saw a little bit at the end of Monday Night Raw of Damian Priest and Seth Rollins. Is Finn Balor gonna get kicked out of the Judgment Day?
I think Finn Balor is going to get kicked out of the Judgment Day. I think it's already dissolving anyway. If you remember, I don't remember if it was SmackDown or Raw, but Becky Lynch kind of told Rhea Ripley, you're just, as long as you're with Dirty Dom, you're just his side piece pretty much. Like, no one's ever going to see you. She goes, the belt needs me. You don't need the belt kind of mentality. And Rhea didn't even say anything to it. So I think the seeds of discourse have already been planted. And yeah, Finn Balor, during the Money in the Bank and the promo and him like, you laughed at me after my injury. You know, I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, he wants Seth Rollins' head on a platter, and he can't handle Damian Priest being able to take it away from him and not him.
Yeah, I think you're right. We'll see what happens there. And what are you looking forward to tomorrow? We're SmackDown. We're getting the trial of Roman Reigns held court by the Usos.
Yes. It's happening. And boy, I would really love some of these other Polynesian wrestlers to come out and like just physically judge him. I think it'd be epic. It'd be totally epic. But yeah, I'm glad he's, this whole judge thing. But like, if it's just the Usos judging him, is that really that much of an impact? You know what I mean? Like, I need like more people judging him. I want it to be like the bad guy from Hunchback of Notre Dame and all those red robe people.
So you want to see hopefully the Wild Samoans off.
Oh yeah.
Was it after Tiki and after whatever their names are?
Oh yeah. Get them all out there. Heck, bring the Rocket. Why not? Get them all
Rikishi, out there. Maybe bring them all in. Yeah. We'll see what happens tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to it. And before we bring in our next, one of our next guys, what's your plan here for what do you think they're going to do with LA Knight?
I think he's going to SummerSlam to face Austin Theory. I think the compromise there is he'd probably get the USA title. Austin Theory is not as popular as LA Knight, and they tried over and over and over with Austin Theory. They even had a match with Cena. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't have ratings in front of me or anything. It just didn't feel fun. It's just kind of like blah there. And I think the LA Knight would be kind of perfect to have that USA Continental belt, whatever it's called. All the 8 million belts they have. Whatever belt Austin Theory is wearing.
USA title, the USA.
USA title. Sure, cool. He wears that belt. I think you'll have him face him in SummerSlam. Because you can't ignore, and I think Triple H said something about it afterwards, the audience's reaction to LA Knight. People with signs like, I came from Germany for LA Knight and stuff like that. You can't ignore that. And I think he should get the, Austin Theory's title and we move on from there.
All right. Hey, I see a guy shaking her head a lot of the time you were talking. Let's bring in Mr. Gambler himself, Scott Cobe.
He's shaking the wax out of his ears is what he's doing.
I don't know if he's telling the nurse that he doesn't want any more pudding or if he's disagreeing with you. Scott, what's up, my man?
Not much. How you guys doing? LA Knights facing Logan Paul at SummerSlam. It's a done deal.
Okay. I think it's Logan Paul and Ricochet.
Yeah, that's what I read.
LA Knight at SummerSlam. That's what they want to go with because of the stuff that's happened at Friday Night SmackDown at London before the pay-per-view. So they're going to face each other at SummerSlam. And then I think LA Knight's going to go on a program against, go up against Austin Theory or whoever. I do think the trial, Sami Zayn's going to figure into that somehow.
You think so?
I can see that.
Because remember, they had the trial of Sami Zayn months ago. I think the return, the Usos are going to bring him out, and he's going to say he's guilty.
Is this the night? Is this the night where Solo steps away from the tribal chief?
I don't think so. I'm ready to see what happens, man. All the twists and turns. It's exciting. Scott, who we betting on tonight, and who we betting on tomorrow?
So today, as I put in the chat, we had Marcus Stroman over 4.5 strikeouts. He got 5. That was a hit. Yuri Perez over 15.5 outs. That was a hit. Yuri Perez with the win, which I usually don't do, but when I looked at it, it was plus 220. So I didn't put a lot of money on it, but I put some money on it. That didn't come through. Toronto, first 5, game 1, that pushed. That got canceled, so that was a return of bet. And then Texas and Cleveland tonight. And Texas is up 5-4 in the 6th. Cleveland's only down 1-0 in the 2nd. So there's plenty of time for those to hit. In terms of tomorrow, I haven't looked. I'll give them on my out comments as we close the show. One thing I wanted to announce tonight was on August 2nd, the Scott Cobe Show will have Jim Coventry from RotoWire.com, a guy who has won a national fantasy championship in one of the high stakes championships. And he's the director of football operations at RotoWire. So Wednesday night, August 2nd, 8 p.m. Eastern, Jim Coventry will be the guest of the Scott Cobe Show. That's tentative right now, depending. He's also on Sirius Radio. So if he has Sirius Radio duties, that will be moved. But as of right now, August 2nd is the night. So I just wanted to announce that. And, I'll have, if Johnny can do it, I know he takes Wednesday nights off. We'll have Tanner and we'll have Nick as part of the crew. We'll have the Sunday morning crew with him, if everybody's available. So that's coming
looking forward to it, Scott. Check out that when that comes up for the Scott Cobe Show. So we'll see. A guy who's got to be miserable right now. He's moving, so he's packing up his shit. The Yankees are playing like shit right now. They're down 13-0 to the Orioles. It's bad right now. Life and times of Johnny Cruz, everybody.
Yeah,
and he's joining us just so he can cheer him up a little bit as he's going through some shit right now.
What's going on, man? Like I always tell you guys, this is like my therapy right here. So I definitely needed this. Yes, the Yankees are a complete embarrassment tonight. Getting their ass whooped. Luis Severino once again gets destroyed. Can't make it out of the 3rd inning, I think. So, yes, happy to be on here with you guys. It's always nice being over here with you guys. Look forward to this. Yes, moving sucks. You don't realize how much crap you have until you have to pack it up and try to move it. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going to Goodwill and being donated because there is no way we are taking all of this stuff with us. So looking forward to finally getting it done. So we should be done this weekend. So hopefully next week will be a nice, fresh new week in the new crib.
Hey, Rio says Yankees misery brings his joy to his soul. So,
whose top 10 were they in? Whose top 10 were they in, huh?
Johnny, can I tell Rio something? Rios, why are you going to bring up bad news? Why are you bring up bad news, Rios? Come on.
Y'all so sensitive about your baseball team.
It's all good. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Bring it.
Petty Betties.
We are the evil empire, and I don't mind saying it.
Couple of petty Betties. Great uniforms, though. That Empire knows how to do.
I mean, the Yankees have not put. I mean, they're playing like 500 split. They to the Cardinals, who absolutely stink, took 2 out of 3 of them, and now they're going to split with the.
Now we split with Baltimore. With the shitty part is that you win the first 2 games. You know what I'm saying? So all you need is one more to win the series. Now you split, so you basically right back to where you started before the series. So you made up no ground, and again you're getting embarrassed in your home field. You know what I'm saying, the last game. So it is what it is. Tomorrow's another day.
And the other part is Tampa might lose. They're losing 2-1 in the 11th. They might lose their
That's
fifth
what I'm saying,
straight.
man. We could have made up some ground.
Yeah.
This week if we could have gotten to 3 out of 4. You know, so like you mentioned, Tampa losing. So, but I don't expect them to win a division anyway. If they make it, they'll make it. You know, barely getting a wild card spot. So,
that's cool. What's that like?
Well, and that's the thing, and that's why I try to tell Yankee. And again, I will say this until my dying day. The worst part about being a Yankee fan is Yankee fans, because they're some of the most spoiled people in the world.
Entitled,
You're constantly complaining about the Yankees, yet we make it to the playoffs every year. Every year we're competitive. We haven't missed the playoffs except for 2008. You know, I think it's almost 30 years.
Did you know they used to train down here?
Enjoy it, people. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to win a World Series every year, but at least we have a competitive team.
You're right. I used to know this guy when I was in the Navy. He's from New York, and he's like, why they call it a World Series when it's played in New York every day, son? That's why it's
God.
Oh my God. They call it the World Series, but it's played in Bronx it's played in, it's played in the Bronx every year. I don't know why they call it the World Series, son. I'm like,
oh God, he had
this is why I hate New York Yankee fans.
Yeah, son.
That was well done, Nick. That was well done.
Get your weak shit out of my kitchen, son.
Hey, let me ask you guys some basketball stuff before we start breaking down some UFC things. There's been, Andrew Miller or Brandon Miller played his first 2 games and 6 points and 8 fouls in Summer League. It's Summer League, y'all, and this kid's already struggling. Johnny, you were not a fan of the pick, and right now it's not looking too hot right now either.
It's all good, bro. It's Summer League. I don't stress that at all. Once he gets out there in the court with Melo, then we'll see what's going on with the team and Bridges. They got a good young core. This kid just got a huge bag. 206 or 260 million for LaMelo Ball.
Good.
So I'm not worried about Summer League. Just don't get hurt. You know what I'm saying? But I'm looking forward to seeing him playing next to LaMelo. He's a really good shooter. He's real athletic. So I think Miller will be fine. Summer League's just Summer League, man. Don't stress that. How many guys blew up in Summer League and then didn't make the team?
Yeah, but how many guys are number 2 overall pick and struggling through Summer League?
I mean, that's a valid point. You know what I'm saying? That's a salient point. But I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's gonna be all right.
I mean, Rios out here, he thinks Paul George should go. He definitely need to worry.
Rios just hanging out.
Is that Brandon Miller thought Paul George?
Yeah. You didn't hear that.
Nick brought it up on the NBA draft coverage.
Bro. That's just. Yeah. I mean, you're embarrassing yourself and your whole family there, bro. Brandon Miller. Come on.
It ain't Kobe. It's Paul George.
It's Paul George, playoff P, who's never made it to a final.
Never made it to a conference. Made it to the conference, I guess, right? Once with the Pacers.
Once with the Pacers.
Did he make it with the Pacers?
He did.
Yeah,
he did. I think he did.
But Vogel was coach, I think.
I didn't say he was the brightest crayon in the box.
That's studying right there. That's what
I just thought he was a good number 2 pick. I just didn't like I didn't like Scoot with LaMelo. I just thought that was, you know what I'm saying, that wasn't the right fit in the backfield. I understand people say you don't worry about that, you just take the best player. I don't think they were that far apart, Brandon Miller from Scoot Henderson. I'm obviously no expert in that, but I like his game. I think it's going to go well with LaMelo, and like I said, like with Bridges. So I think Charlotte's going to be all right. Don't stress the Summer League. It don't look good for you to play like shit in the Summer League and for you to make some stupid ass comments like that. But I'm not worried about what he says. I just want to see him on the court. So.
Scott, it seems like the free agency's kind of cooled off here lately. Is it just everybody waiting on Dame and James Harden?
Yeah, that is exactly what it is, and what they get for contracts, extensions or whatever. I know they're going to get traded, but Dame Lillard, that trade seems like it's far away from being made. Miami hasn't even made a move. I don't think they've even contacted Portland in terms of what they want. So that's the trade I think everybody's waiting to see before the Harden trade happens. The Clippers right now are trying to figure out how the heck they're going to fit Harden into all this. So these guys, if they get traded, it's not going to be until right before the season starts, maybe, which means training camp, obviously.
Did you hear about his agent, Dame's agent, telling people that he's not going to be happy?
Yeah,
he's not going to be a happy player if he goes to any other team. I get that. But
it's Miami or bust.
But at the same time, so you expect your old franchise to just take pennies on the dollar?
Well, so he told. I read a thing today too, Johnny, is that he wants to sit down with the both GMs, Dame does, and really have like honest negotiations and see what they can get here. And I think they want a third team involved.
Well, they're going to have to get a third team involved in order for Portland to get the draft picks that they want.
Yeah,
I mean, Tyler Herro's a good player, but I don't think they want his contract. So you just got to find somebody that's willing to give up a first or two firsts for Tyler Herro, maybe Tyler Herro and Duncan Robinson or something like that. Like Miami's going to have to give. I mean, Miami don't like to give up shit either. You know what I'm saying? But Miami's going to have, if they want Dame, they're going to have to give up some stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see. But just the whole narrative that if somebody else trade, you know, because what if Brooklyn comes out with a great pack? What if Philly comes out with a package like he ain't going to want to play with Joel Embiid? I understand wanting to go to South Beach, the no state income tax, and I mean I understand all that, but at the same time, you can't expect Portland to just, you know what I'm saying, just bend over and just take it just because he wants to go to Miami. You know what I'm saying? If they're not going to get something good for him.
Well, here's the other thing that just popped in my mind. Remember when Durant was a free agent that year and he set himself up in the mountains or Catskills or whatever, and he had teams come to him.
I think he was in the Hamptons. I think it was the Hamptons.
That was the Hamptons.
That was the Hamptons.
Dame needs to do something like that. I know it's free agency, a trade, it's different, but maybe Dame Lillard needs to go someplace like the Hamptons and say, okay, who's interested in my services? And then 3 or 4 teams are interested. They come up, they make the pitch to him. Portland GM and his agent sit down and they say, okay, Dame wants to go here. Let's see what we can do to make it happen. Maybe that's what it's going to take. A meeting.
Well, like Nick said, you know what I'm saying? He wants to sit down with the GMs and I'm sure Pat Riley and try to figure out the best thing for everybody. Because, you know what I'm saying? I don't think he's trying to screw over Portland as well. But he wants to go where he wants to go. So, I mean, if he has to sit there with them and they can all figure it out, and they're going to have to get, like I said, they're going to have to get a third team involved. If I'm the Nets, I'm good with trading a couple firsts for Tyler Herro, because then you got Herro, Bridges, Cam John. You got a nice nucleus of young wing guys right there. You get a nice veteran point guard or somebody to play with them. Brooklyn might be pretty good, man.
Well, that's what the new thing in the NBA is now. Dallas and Boston had to get a third team involved to make this Grant Williams trade happen. So this is what's going on now. 3-team trades are going to be all the rage in the NBA right now.
Scott, I saw a thing today too, is that your Boston is trying to look for, they're collecting draft picks and they're going to try to make a big splash for somebody. Who the hell is it going to be?
My opinion is that maybe it's somebody down in Houston. Maybe Jaylen Brown, like you said, is going to get. It seems like the contract talks are going nowhere right now.
Who are they going to get from Houston though?
Somebody. Maybe Houston signed somebody that they're interested in. Ime Udoka is going to take Jaylen Brown.
I was say you got to get something good for Jaylen Brown. If you got to give up on Jaylen Brown,
you do, but you also got to realize that the cap situation, the luxury tax is weighing. That's why they only took second-round draft picks for this Grant Williams trade, because they're at that second threshold of luxury tax right now where you're paying a ton of money. So here's the rumors that are going around up here. Dame Lillard, James Harden, any free agent that's out there or contract is close to expiring, they're going to take a look at to trade. So,
bro, can you imagine Dame going to Boston, bro?
I don't know what his contract.
Dame, Tatum, and
Tatum. They don't got the money.
Well, I mean, if they give up Brown,
maybe.
I mean, they might have to give up Horford as well to make the money match. But you'll say that would be quite a trio if this kid can stay healthy. I'm drawing a blank now on the center they just got from
Porzingis.
Yeah, Porzingis, Tatum, and Dame. That's a nice trio right there, bro.
It certainly is, and
it'll never happen. He'll wind up in Miami. Portland's gonna wind up getting screwed and only get like 2 first-round picks and a bunch of bullshit second-round picks, because that's the way it happened. The NBA, the players rule the NBA, man. So they get what they want, and the franchises just get stuck with whatever they get left with.
The NBA is the most player-driven league there is.
Mm-hmm. So the things that are going on up here in Boston is that Grossbeck and Brad Stevens are not at odds, but are on opposite sides of the spectrum, because Grossbeck doesn't think that Jaylen Brown is worth the Supermax deal. And Brad Stevens says, if we want to make a title run, the only way we're going to keep him is on the Supermax. So now all of a sudden it's one wants one, and Whit Grossbeck doesn't want to give him all this money. Who's going to win in the end? It's going to be the owner, obviously.
The next comment by Rios, I agree with totally, bro.
Yeah. So I would not be surprised if Jaylen Brown is dealt this offseason someplace. It would not surprise me a bit.
And I know a lot of people be like, oh, well, Marcus Smart but Marcus Smart wasn't exactly the prototypical point guard. You need a distributor, you know what I'm saying, that, like I said, like Rio said, with some dog in him.
Smart to me is a two guard than a point guard. You know what I mean? Like he's a better two off the ball.
But I think that is what Boston needs. They need a true point guard that can run the offense, so it ain't Tatum just basically or Jaylen Brown going one-on-one the whole time. You need a true point guard to kind of set everybody up. So it'd be interesting to see what Boston does. But I anticipate Dame will be in Miami. They'll figure something out. Because like I said, the players always get what they want. And I saw something about when his 35 and 36 seasons, he's gonna get close to $60 million a year, bro. That's insane, man.
He's gonna be set up for a while. Let me ask you guys this, because Bottom Line Sports here says that they don't think Harden's going anywhere. You guys Harden's going someplace. He's getting traded to the Clippers or somebody.
Yeah, he's somebody's headache next season.
He's gonna have to, because Philly's gonna have to, because he's gonna be he's gonna make it miserable for them if they don't trade him. So
Philly wants nothing to do with him. The only reason he opted in was to get him out of Philadelphia.
Right.
So he's going to the Clippers, or he's going someplace out west.
But they better get somebody that can play, because Joel Embiid, he's 1 year away from crying his way out of Philly as well. So
yeah,
it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with all that, man.
Philly's going back down to the bottom again pretty soon.
Speaking of my fledgling basketball career as a fan, Celtics fans act a lot like Yankees fans in baseball. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And Laker fans too.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Those are the two I've discovered. And I'm like, good Lord. I took a stroll through Twitter today, and it's already a cesspool. That, my friends, is an abyss. That's a freaking abyss.
Well, I'll use the same logic as Yankees fans. Titles. Look at the titles the Celtics have.
That's why the Lakers act that way. That's why Dallas tries to act that way.
Tries to act that way.
You know well, I mean, they try to. You know what I'm saying? The whole America's team and stuff.
That's
in the
true,
90s,
Rios.
they could. Not now.
That is true.
It's true.
Rios,
but hide your daughters. Hide your daughters. I mean, maybe not. If they in the strip club, they about to make some money with James around.
And I mean, these are exotic dancers, bro. They're exotic dancers.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. They're not
yeah.
Wow.
And they all
going to medical school. They're all going to medical school.
It's very insensitive.
And they all love you, and they all want you to take them home and do nice things and clean your house.
Come on, Daddy, take me home.
Scott, don't you ever say that again. Don't you ever say that again.
Let's go ahead. We got our guests waiting. I don't want to keep them waiting any longer. Boys, you guys know me. I'm a huge UFC fan. The biggest card that you can ask for is this weekend. I think this weekend's pay-per-view and the next pay-per-view are probably the top of the line of this year. And to guy we've brought on several times to talk about it all is our guest tonight, none other than Whit from Rec Room Sports. What's up, Whit?
He got the beach hat on.
Yeah, you know me, man. When it comes time to talk about it, I'm prepared. I'm ready. Check this out, man. First of all, let me tell you guys something. Jaylen Brown is going nowhere. Let's not talk about that. Okay.
I don't want him to, honestly. I just think the talk up here in Boston is they're not sold on giving him the Supermax deal. So there's going to be problems if they don't do this. There's going to be problems next year.
Yeah, hopefully they can work some things out. I like what you're saying. He might go to Houston, but I'm a homer man. I want him to stay put.
Yeah.
If it means we can have a Tatum, Dame, Porzingis 3-team triangle match,
that would be wild.
Where they switch them out. That I might feel not so bad about that because, of course, at least Jaylen Brown would be going to somewhere where he could prosper. As long as he doesn't go somewhere like New Orleans or something like that.
See, he's somebody too that I think you put him with a really good point guard. I think he'll blossom, bro. But him and Tatum basically play the same position, so I think if you get him a legit point guard, I think Jaylen Brown can go off, bro.
So they like playing Tatum at the 4. And the thing is, then they like having Brown play basically 3 or 2, depending on who's the team's best scorer is. So, but yeah, I don't want him to go anywhere. I like him where he's at. Yeah.
So here's what just popped into my head: these 3-team trades of the rage in the NBA: Houston, Portland, Boston. Lillard goes to Boston. Jaylen goes to Houston. Portland gets draft capital.
That would make sense.
Maybe see that.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
That draft capital. Brown getting his way into Houston. Portland's getting draft capital to build up their team, and the Celtics are getting the point guard that they need in a superstar in Dame Lillard.
And just hear me out about this. And although you know what I'm saying, I don't have my crystal ball out. The next 2 years worth of like draft capital is going to be really important. Because of course, you know what I'm saying, we got a Colonel Flag, what they call him, the white kid, really good. Got the Boozer twins. You're gonna have LeBron's son, the kid from Spain that everybody likes right now playing in the Euro League. Those and he got drafted this year, but he elected to have FC Barcelona maintain his rights. They're gonna have to basically pay for him. For another year. So in the next 2 years, those draft picks will be very important. And as you all can see from, everybody's expertise, European basketball, I'm not going to say it's taking over, but they're coming in a little bit more prepared and I want to say settled into a professional lifestyle. Whereas, these kids and my friend Jay can talk more about it, like with the Peace Jam and the AAU ball, they get catered to just a little bit more with that AAU ball because you're good. And then you're thrown into a professional setting and then you don't know how to show up to practice. You don't know how to put the controller down. You know what I mean? But these kids are coming from Europe and playing, since they was 12 because they're 6'4", and they're prepared to be professionals. But, anyway, guys, I'm here to talk UFC. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you good, man. You good.
Look at the screen, man. Read the signs.
You good. I was just about to say, Bodkins like, I'm just going to lead us up here.
Yeah, I'm just going to push this right here. Hey, who wants to be Josiah Harrell and not even get a picture? You're just a silly.
Hey, that kind of goes to my first question for you, Whit. This card, it came out when it was put out, it was great. And now we've seen some injuries. We saw JDM. He was supposed to fight Sean Brady. Sean Brady has to pull out. We're supposed to get Tayshawn Gore versus Bo Nickel. Gore had to pull out. So, there's been a couple replacements. Are you still satisfied with this card, or how stoked are you for this card?
I'm extra excited about this card because, of course, the main event, like the co-main, the main, the top 3, those are the things we kind of go, like any fight fan, whether it's boxing or UFC, like that's what we're waiting on. It's 12 o'clock. I've eaten my chicken wings. I'm on my 3rd or 4th beer. I'm excited about those last 3 fights. But in order to get to those fights, I want to see something that maybe I'm not anticipating. And when I get to that, I'm thinking about one. Let's just talk about the Bo Nickel Valentine Woodburn fight. Now, I've done my research on my man Valentine Woodburn. Okay, so he fights in another promotion, if I'm not mistaken. It's Combat Night Promotions. He's 6-0. He's 7-0. He's 6-0 as a professional. He last fought in August. He won versus via unanimous decision. Defended the middleweight title belt against Luis Melo. I'm interested to see that because the UFC has such a quick turnover for fighters.
Well, the hype train is Bo Nickel. It doesn't matter. I mean,
I know.
I mean, Bo Nickel is what's he favorite here? Minus 1,300. Like,
Bo Nichols. Bo Nichols basically 1,300 on DraftKings, 1060.
Yeah,
1060
so,
on
I mean,
FanDuel.
Johnny, I told you in January, hey, Bo Nickel is going to make short work of whoever the heck he fought. This guy's just going to be on the footnote of Bo Nickel's highlight reel as Bo Nickel continues to climb. They're going to put a rocket ship on this kid, and he's going to go straight to his next fight. I wouldn't be surprised if it's somebody in the top 15. That's how high he is. We're talking about a two-time All-American wrestler. This kid is the real deal.
So the Val Woodburn has no chance. He's 7-0, but that's a
not in the UFC.
He doesn't have
That's a misleading 7-0
standards.
No picture, no chance. That's the rules.
Yeah, exactly.
In UFC standards, what you would think is Bo Nickel has been there. Bo Nickel actually has a wrestling pedigree that is bar none one of the best during his college career. It's kind of hard to go I've watched some of the highlights for Val Woodburn. Don't get me wrong. In some of the smaller, lesser known promotions, they're looking for the hang and bang guys. Let's see whose chin's the best. Let's see if you can stand there and take a couple. Bo Nickel's gonna put you on the mat and
he's gonna put you out.
He's gonna put you out. He's gonna put you on the mat. It's gonna be a wrap. So I'm really interested to see what happens when you don't have tape on a guy. Nobody knows him. What's his tendencies? I want to say he's taking the fight on 2 weeks, 3 weeks notice.
A week's notice, I believe.
Am I wrong?
I think it was a week or 2 weeks. Yeah, a week's notice. And JDM fight was on 3 days notice. It happened Sunday. They made that fight on Tuesday, pretty much.
That's wild. Goodness.
Yeah.
Whit.
And look, wild, and the thing is, you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready to go. UFC is one of those places where, hey, you want the money, let's see what you're really about. Now, another one that I'm excited about on the card, this is just
before we get into the main card. Yeah, I want to ask you, I think you were headed there. The Robbie Lawler fight. That's the retirement fight of Robbie Lawler.
Yeah.
A legend in this game, a guy who his fight with Roy McDonald is actually going into Hall of Fame tomorrow night, or tonight, actually, Thursday night. Tonight is the Hall of Fame for the UFC. And that fight itself, if you ever get a chance, Sam, I know you're new to the UFC world. If you watch, just Google on ESPN anything, Robbie Lawler versus Roy McDonald, and watch that 5-round fight, you'll realize why everybody became a Robbie fan and why everybody loves Roy McDonald, because that was an absolute war. Robbie's been his wars, and now tomorrow on Saturday night he hangs it up. His last 3 fights have not gone well, but is that where you were talking about with?
Definitely, man. I was going into talking about the Roy McDonald fight was one of the things I was going to bring up because of course at that time Robbie Lawler was on a rampage technically through the division.
Yeah.
And people's chins were getting tested every fight when it came to him.
His chin too. He take one.
His chin too. And that's
take 2, hit sure. 1 to get 1. That's Robbie's method. And the crazy thing is he's a wrestler, All-American wrestler at Iowa, nonetheless.
Right. And the thing is, even though wrestling was what he came into the UFC for, 9 times out of 10, man, that fight wasn't going past that second round when it came to Robbie Lawler. So I'm really excited to see him put him up. Let's see. I'm looking at basically where Robbie Lawler is going down, possibly at
plus 220 right now.
Plus 240.
Plus 220.
Plus 220. Okay, they got a plus 2. They got a plus 210 at FanDuel.
Plus
Okay.
220 here.
Does he have
and
Does he have a shot to win this fight?
I don't think so, Scott. Unfortunately, I wouldn't put I wouldn't put it on him. It's just sometimes when when it goes on a fighter, it goes. And these are the types. He's not. If he was facing an older fighter, like his 2 fights ago, he fought Nick Diaz in a. It looked like 2 drunk uncles fighting at your barbecue.
The Nick Diaz fight was a good one, and of course, Nick Diaz is another one who's on the way out.
Yes,
on the back 9.
And this Nico Price isn't. He's a younger guy. And this is one thing that I don't like about the UFC sometimes is they feed these older veterans to the young kid, and the young kid just pieces them up. We saw Frankie Edgar, that happened to him in November. Sometimes once it goes, it's gone, and it's been gone for Robbie for a little while now. I wouldn't put the plus money on it. I actually pick a Nico Price to win this fight.
Yeah, and what I want to see is I want to see it last 5 rounds. Well, not 5 rounds, but I want to see it. I want to see it to the end. I don't want to see him get taken out. First round. I want to see Robbie Lawler scrap. I want to see him go out on his shield like most good UFC fighters want to go. But of course, Nico Price got a strong left hand. Okay. And in his last 2 fights, he's actually used it and it's prevailed. So it's kind of one of those things where I want to see somebody who's blood, sweat, and tears has been put down for the UFC and help grow the sport and the brand. But it just like Bodkins says, man, sometimes they feed the old lion to the young lion, and
so what are y'all thinking? Like deep down, you thinking it's an early knockout, or you think he'll be able to hold it down?
I think so. I think it's probably done in the second.
He's got one of those conditions where you see a lot of older fighters, and one of my favorite was what's my man Cody Love, right? Cody Garbrandt, when he caught those first 2 concussions, every fight after that, you touched his chin, he was going down. And somewhat in this case with Robbie Lawler, I think it's a similar case. When they do all of those brain studies and stuff like that, man, once you really catch that first grade 2 concussion, there's no coming back from that. Like your brain could touch a napkin and you're gonna have a concussion.
Yeah, so we're both on Robbie Lawler and we're both on Bo Nickal. Is that what you're saying? Is that who you picking with?
Pretty much. Well, yeah, we're going
hammer it down, baby.
Yeah, we're going Bo Nickals for that one for sure already. That's a.
Go ahead, Scott.
Are you guys putting down any kind of money on this, or you just?
Oh yeah, I put a parlay together.
Okay, you are going to put something on it. Okay.
Yeah, I put a parlay together.
Nick, I haven't put any money on it, but I got bets in the street right now. My man Jimbo, he does Muay Thai at a gym down here in Jacksonville, and he talks a lot of trash. And I said we'll see what happens with the main event because we're gonna get to it, but he's a Pantoja fan. Oh, you don't know about those percent. I was like, all right, whatever. But we'll get to that one.
We'll get to that. Hey, hold on, Scott. Before you can't really put any money on Bo Nickal because it's so high minus. He's such a high favorite at minus like 1,300. Like even in a parlay, you can't even put him in there because he just fucks it all up because he's such a favorite. So I mean, if you wanted to put $2 on Val and hope for a miracle, why not? But other than that, why do it?
That's a big return if Val wins now. That's a big return.
Yeah.
Bo Nickal sounds like a used car salesman.
Hey, tell him that to your face. You know what I mean? So,
They'll be my famous last words.
He was training. Bo's been training UFC even when he was in college, and he was been training with guys like Jorge Masvidal, Dustin Poirier. He's from that gym, and they all said hey, this dude is a bad dude. Like he gonna be a bad motherfucker, pretty much is what they were saying.
So even though he only has 4 UFC fights, he's experienced.
I mean, I want to say that the idea that you got to think about with Bo Nickal is he had, I want to say 2 collegiate wrestling
all American titles, national titles,
American titles. He got like 2 win streaks that nobody's ever gonna have ever again. You know what I'm saying? So it's even though somewhere in there the his pugilism is him being able to put his hands up on another person is going to be tested. But if he say if I don't know if any of y'all ever seen anything, but if you get tested enough, you're just going to revert to what you know. And if he got to wrestle, he's going to wrestle the shit out of Val Woodbridge.
Yeah, let's get to the next fight on this card. It's the two lightweights going at it, and Jalen Turner and Dan Hooker. This fight was supposed to
sheets. Yeah, that's where I was going next.
Oh, hey, this fight was supposed to happen in March. Hooker broke his arm. They've rebooked this fight. It's right. Turner versus Hooker. Dan Hooker's a gamer, but to this day, I've always said Jalen Turner's 6'4". I'm 6'4". I don't know in this world if I could ever get to 155. Somehow Jalen Turner's 6'4" big ass gets to 155 for 30 seconds. It's insane to me that he cuts that much weight. He's an absolute stud. He's coming off a loss, though. He did fight Gamrot, which losing to Gamrot's nothing to sneeze at. It's been a while since we've seen Dan Hooker. He's floated around at lightweight. He's went back to featherweight. He's kind of been in this midst here. There for a long time, he was a top 5 gatekeeper, but he's had some tough losses. He's taken some short notice fights. Jalen's the favorite here at minus 250. At Dan's the favorite or the dog at plus 250. Who you like here, Whit?
Right here, when it comes to me, once again, you brought up the statistics. These are two guys who are going to try and take each other's heads off. I don't really see much wrestling, much mat talk going on, but Dan Hooker, like you said, making weight for probably 10 minutes. Literally enough time for him to get on the scale.
I said that about Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner.
He's going to Jalen Turner's going to rehydrate, and he's going to be a larger adversary for Dan Hooker. And I kind of see it going either way, but not making it past the third round. And I'm going in the sense of saying, Jalen Turner can make it happen. I like. Don't get me wrong. Dan Hooker's is tested in the UFC. A lot of guys don't get tested like Dan Hooker has got tested in the UFC and not been released or not been sent somewhere, sent to the dungeon.
Well, he's a company guy. He'll take fight on short notice. We've seen that. Right. He's tough. But I like Jalen Turner, man. I just do. I just think he's a tougher guy. And again, being 6'4", he may not be at 155, but more than another year. And I just like to see him go on a nice run here. I think he's long and he's tough. I'd like to see him bounce back here. And I'm picking Jalen Turner over Dan Hooker.
Can that be a detriment to them to lose that much weight, to make weight and then to immediately throw all that weight back on? Can't that hurt them?
If it's a struggle, if you're struggling cutting the weight to make weight on the scale, it can be a detriment. Now, if the weight cut's going easy, you hit the 155, you're going to rehydrate. The rehydration part's not bad. It's the actual getting to 155 that can be a struggle. So you got to really start cutting soon. Now, some guys it's easier than quicker, but being his size, he'll probably have to move up to 170 eventually, because at 155, he's a younger kid. There's no way at 6'4" he can continue to cut to 155.
Does he have the power to go up to 170?
It's a body thing too, man.
Go ahead, Johnny. I'm sorry.
Does he have the power to go up to 170?
Oh yeah. Kid can put people's lights out.
Okay, he's putting people to sleep.
Yep.
Is there
the whole
pros
thing
and cons?
Just like we were talking about with the cutting weight, a lot of fighters, and I know this from dealing with a lot of folks who've wrestled over like say my years of experience in college and in high school. Like that cutting weight is, it damn near kills you to a degree, because you have to do it in such a short period of time and almost go through starvation. And everybody wants to go, well, I'm not going to eat carbs. Just imagine not eating carbs on the humble. Like, all right, I'm just not going to eat anything, and then to rehydrate and put yourself up. Now, in my opinion, just like you mentioned, Bodkins, going up in weight for him will probably be easier because that weight cut won't be so steep. So but for right now, hey, Dan does, just like we said, Dan Hookie's a company guy, takes fights on short notice, comes in, gives it his all. I'm looking for him to go ahead and take this L tomorrow night.
Are there pros and cons being like having days before a fight or everything? Like, is it just which fighter can work better on short time and which fighter works better when they know it's coming up within weeks and stuff?
So you're talking about like if you get a short notice fight, Sam?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So they have to be strategic, right? So most fighters, if you just try to, if you're a fighter and you're like, especially if you're a fringe guy. Now, if you're like top of the line, like top 5 ranked, you probably don't really worry about it. But if you're a middle fringe guy, you want to fluctuate in between, those weights. So like you want to sit around close to where, hey, if I had to, I could lose these 20 pounds in 3 days to make weight. So you don't ever want to bloom too much up, and you want to fluctuate to where, hey, if they call me in a 3 days notice, I can cut the weight, or sometimes they do a catch weight between the two fighters because they just can't. There's no way, and you see that happen every once in a while. But the UFC will tell you they don't want to do catch weights, but it happens.
It happens.
So they basically need to be training just in case. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah,
be ready in case something comes up.
You want to fight in a class where you're 10 or 15 pounds away from your walking around weight.
Yeah.
Right.
Because in a week or so, even though us guys right here, eating steaks and chips and drinking soda, 15 pounds sounds outrageous in a week. But for someone who's running, training every day, 15 pounds is nothing. That's normal.
That's water weight.
That's water weight.
Once you get to that 20-pound mark, that is where it's tough from what I understand.
Yeah.
So it looks like to me, looking at the card, that there's a lot of heavy favorites in this. If it's not off the board, is that the way you guys, both Nick and Whit, think it's going to go? Is the heavy favorites are going to win?
Well, we'll finish breaking it down, Scott. We'll finish breaking it down, and we'll tell you. Okay. So we get the third card. This is a number 1 contender fight. With they've already pretty much said, hey, if I like to call him DDP versus the Reaper, Robert Whitaker. I told you this in Twitter. I said Whit has not lost to anybody not named Izzy in over a decade. Unless that's only 2 losses on his record is the 2 title fights to Izzy. This guy would be a GOAT if Izzy wasn't around. I mean, nobody can beat him. And here comes DDP. And they're trying to fast track him because they want to get this Africa, who's the real African, right? Izzy or DDP. So they were hoping DDP wins this fight. But what's your thoughts here on DDP versus Robert Whitaker in a number 1 contender fight for the middleweight title? And they'll have to do a quick turnaround because Izzy's fighting in 2 months in Australia.
Right. Okay. So real quick, I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. We're going to have a quick flashback story time. So I went to college once, right? I went to college at a school called Francis Marion University. And at Francis Marion, 2 things are huge at Francis Marion: baseball and tennis, right? And I was a sweet mate with a kid, 6'4", really nice guy. Never really talked to him. And then all of a sudden he came across the door and said, "Hey, mate, I'm going to go play a little bit of soccer outside. You want to come?" I said, "Who and where the hell are you from?" White guy. He said, "Well, I'm really from South Africa." I said, "You're from where?" "South Africa." And he is, and Dricus Duplexis reminds me exactly of that. When you get to where they're from and how they're raised, that's African. It is what it is to them. And I think that when they had that real big push where we had several African origin fighters, he was going, "Well, what about me?" And I like that heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't try me just because of my skin color. Like, I'm from South Africa. I'm the real African champ. I like that. And
I live there, I breathe there, is what he says.
Right. I live there, I breathe there. My friends are black. My mom's friends is black. Like that kind of thing to me. Like he's not playing when he speaks the truth about where he's from. And I love that. I love that energy that he brings into the ring. And just like you said, Robert Whitaker, if there was no Israel Adesanya, would be the main guy in the weight division, bar none, hands down, easily. Because if they ever got in the top 5, Whitaker's probably taking them out. And right now, this is one of those fights, and we were talking about it a second ago. There's a lot of heavies in the card, but this one right here, I think could go either way. But Whitaker is going to be, I don't think he's going to be soft on Duplexis at all. this is one of those matches where let me teach you a lesson. Let me show you how how the title contenders fight. We're gonna go all these rounds. I'm not gonna burn out my gas tank. And in the end, when I take you into deep waters, we're really going to show you how we get down. And I like Whitaker in this fight, but I'm not sold on it. I'm not sold on it, but I like
So
Whitaker.
if you have a couple extra dollars, why not throw it on DDP since it's plus 310?
Yeah.
I mean, look, yeah, if you're doing it, if you want to put him out there, if you want to have a dog in the fight, I would go, and of all of these fights, if there's an accidental second, third round knockout, somebody gets caught, I'm thinking Duplessis does it.
So you got DDP as your dog on the card, like that's the one you would put money on.
That's the one I would put money on. I think everybody else is pretty much solid going up on the rest of the card, but Duplessis.
Here's what I'm going to tell you: DDP is not going to win. His gas tank. You just said it, gas tank. This man,
he can get you.
I've seen this man breathing heavy after a round and a half. He's real sloppy. Now that's kind of way he fights. That's not going. Robert Whitaker's just not that guy, man. He's going to take you in, like you said, to deep waters. He has been to championship rounds. Now this is a 3-round fight, and so that kind of maybe favors DDP, I think, a little bit as far as like Rob's not going to, but Rob is so smart, and he's so damn good. The Reaper does it again in Robert Whitaker in this one. Let's get to the co-main event.
Wait, real quick before you move on to that one. Question: why do they do 3 rounds on this one instead of the 5 like they do for all the other ones?
So 5 rounds. The champions matches are always 5 rounds, or our main event's always 5 rounds. Anything other than that's 3 rounds.
Unless they decided to do like a co-main event, which they rarely do. Which I can't lie, this would have been a great idea to do 2 co-mains, but. Yeah, exactly.
The
main events and co-mains are all 5 rounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, some co-mains may not be. If it's for a championship belt, it will be, but some co-mains aren't. But every main event's 5 rounds, and then anytime the strap's on the line. Yep. Hey, let's get into the co-main. It's Brandon Moreno versus Pantoja here. Moreno has been in this it feels like a decade-long rivalry with Figueiredo. He's now put that in the rearview mirror. These are 2 flyweights. This is going to be a stand-up fight, Johnny. This is going to be a good boxing match. Moreno loves to stand and throw, and Pantoja will sit there. Pantoja actually has 2 wins over Moreno. Beat him once on tough, and then beat him again. And then Moreno got kicked out of the UFC after that fight, and then they brought him back at that point in time. Who you like in this one, Moreno or Pantoja?
All right, I'm one of those guys where normally the history of the fight always prevails, and mentally, some fighters can't get over losses. Some, not all, but some fighters can't get over losses. Brandon Moreno has showed everybody he's tough as nails. He comes from a gritty background. When they had that huge international fight week a few years ago, and like all of the Mexican fighters pretty much won on that card, he was a part of that, and I remember. But there's a but. Pantoja has figured him out twice, and I think that plays a part into what happens necessarily. Now, don't get me wrong. Yeah, it was a tough fight. It was anybody could have won that one, But the second fight was won pretty handily, in my opinion. And if Moreno can get over taking that loss, those losses, this is his fight, because of course now let's not forget Moreno. This is once again the gas tank fight. When we talking 5 rounds, Moreno can do it. We saw it. We've seen it.
But they're 2 flyweights. They better be able to go. They weigh 115, 120.
Hey, there we go. I'm about to say another Chet Holmgren joke. But yeah, with them having had seen each other 3. Well, this is going to be the 3rd one. I'm looking for Moreno to prevail as long as he keeps the mental stability of him being taken out by this guy twice in the rearview mirror. This is a brand new fight. He's a whole nother person. He's way more seasoned than he was in the first 2. He's fought some wars since then. But Pantoja, man, I hate to sound like this, but anybody Brazilian, anybody who's done any of that jiu-jitsu, if you get the brown,
he's an angry fighter.
Right. If you get the brown or black, Okay, I'm scared. I'm scared of that. So, but I like Moreno in this. If I'm looking at it properly, right now they got Moreno to 205 and FanDuel and DraftKings. And I'm hitting on that one. I'm pretty much gonna stick with Moreno though.
But it wouldn't
Pantoja,
surprise you if the other cat wins this fight.
yeah,
It would
Pantoja.
if the third time's a charm, I would feel bad for Moreno because
I
Here's
mean,
my
some people just got your number.
Cormier couldn't beat John Jones to save his life. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, no matter how good Daniel Cormier was, he couldn't beat John Jones to save his life. John Jones had it figured out. John Jones was in his head. And in the end, DC, although being one of the best in two divisions, basically, he had an adversary in John Jones. Moreno's, in this case, could be Pantoja.
Exactly. Scott, you asked me earlier, hey, are you taking all the favorites or you got a dog on the card? Well, guess what?
Oh, snap.
It's my dog on the card at plus
Whoa.
money, plus 125 it is. That's right. It's Alexander Pantoja and new UFC flyweight champion of the world.
Oh. All right, I got it now.
Nick,
I gotta
you
go
look
buy
good
dog
with
pass
that
now.
on.
I got now.
Hey,
now
what's
now
that
you get my
smell
dog
like in there, Nick? Pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
took it off
who.
kinda
That's
quick.
who I got as my dog. It's Pantoja and new for the flyweight champion. I just think that I just think he has his number, and I think he's an angrier fighter. Can do a little bit more. I think Moreno's been to some wars. It sometimes when you get some wars and you fought somebody so many times, I think it takes a little off of you. So I'm going with Pantoja here.
I feel you on that one, brother. It for me. It's so close, and I want to see that. I want to see that overcome thing. I finally did it. I got him after. Because what is he in that? And I can't think of my man's name all of a sudden. I'm drawing a blank.
Alex Pereira.
Yeah, Alex Pereira. Yeah, that was his guy. He lost to him twice. He finally got him in the third time. So maybe Moreno can follow in that trend and win and not be like Daniel Cormier and John Jones and have to face the man for the third time and walk out the ring crying because that was tough. I love Daniel Cormier. He's a cool guy.
Let's get to the main event. To me, it's the pound for pound best fighter in the world right now.
Yes,
Alexander Volkanovski from down under, the Australian, going against Mexico's own, the interim featherweight champion, Yair Rodriguez. The only reason he's the interim is because Alex, in February went up to try to fight, 155 champ Islam. I thought it was a close fight. Yeah, I guess they gave it to Islam. Very narrow, thin, but now he comes back down to reclaim really the division that he's just run roughshod. I think he's the greatest featherweight champion of all time almost. He beat Jose Aldo. Maybe it wasn't Aldo's prime, but still beat him. It's beat Max Holloway not once, not twice, but 3 freaking times, and every time it got worse for Max. So,
and I love Max Holloway.
Yes, Max Holloway he's the Robert Whittaker of this division, right? If there's no Alexander Volkanovski, Max is probably still the champ. In fact, he beat Yair last year or 2 years ago. So Max would probably still be the champ if there was no Alexander Volkanovski. But there is an Alexander Volkanovski, and he happens to be the smartest fighter there is to me out there. This guy makes no mistakes. They're just but on the flip side, Yair's dangerous. Even Alex said, "Hey." Is he the most hardest fighter? Probably not. But is he the absolutely most dangerous fighter I've ever fought? And he said yes, because he's long, he's tall, he throws elbows, he's reckless. He goes in there with abandonment to kill somebody, does Yair Rodriguez. But Volk's smart enough, I think, to not get caught. What's your thoughts, Whit?
Just like you were saying, man, I gotta ride with you on this one, man. Volkanovski's fighting prowess has shown us all, especially even when he went up to go see about Islam, man. What you want to do? You want to take it on the mat? You want to stand and bang? You want to try it on the ground and see if we could get to the grappling? He's got a complete game, and right now, when you think about Yair, there's only a few things that he could do, and to me, one of the things that you cannot do against Volkanovski is try to out wrestle him. I mean, that is one of those things. Whereas it hasn't worked for his past few opponents because somebody said, hey, you know what, he can wrestle. Maybe I can out wrestle him. Maybe I can work him into a corner. Whereas, you know what I'm saying, I could possibly get him into submission. Every time in those fights, Volkanovski figures a way out, and then somehow the reverse on each of his opponents, the last three opponents have been crazy. So I see him coming out on top on this one. But big shouts out to Yair for holding down the interim title. It's not like he's a chump. He didn't just come out of
Oh, he's
nowhere.
tough.
Yeah, he's been putting in work, but you know, just like you said with his length, he does have the length on Volkanovski in this division. But as far as fight career, and you know, I think a lot of that like plays a part into how you go into a fight. Like, it's not like Volkanovski hasn't fought somebody who's been more rangier than him before. You know what I mean? When you get into like, you know, inches as far as fighting somebody, you get in close combat. I really want to give that to Volkanovski, man. You know, he gets those mitts on you, he gets you on the ground, wears you out on the mat. It might not be the first round, it might not be the second round, but by that fourth and fifth round, just like we talked about earlier, when you get into those deep waters and you're not prepared to have another man on top of your paws, you know, it's tough. And I think Volkanovski take this one. I don't even think he gets to the fifth round past the fourth round, to be honest.
How many of these fights go the distance, do you think?
On this card,
I think the featherweight, the co-main's probably going the distance.
yeah, the co-main, I'm seeing Moreno and Pantoja fight, you know, going all the way. Hooker and Turner. Turner probably going to take Hooker's probably going to end up being taken out somewhere in that fight. Bo Nickel and Valentin Whitburn. You know, if you ask Bodkins, that's going to end in the first 45 seconds.
Yeah, it'll probably. I don't think it gets out the first round. I don't think it gets out the first round.
Quickest fight, you think, Nick?
Yeah, I do. I think it's over quick.
Yeah, and then of course, you know, I want to see Robbie Lawler go out on a shield all 3 rounds, but it's a possibility. Man, look, like I said, you know what I'm saying, one of those elbows from Nico Price could take him out, especially if that's when he gets him on the mat. So, you know, it's a thing where I want to see the fights last longer. But one of the most exciting things about watching the UFC fight is the idea that it could be over. So I can't go get, you know, a drink, or I can't go say, hey, let me go to the bathroom. Like, no, I come back and the fight is over. That's one of the best things about the UFC for sure, is that, hey, in a blink of an eye, the match can change.
Be done.
You know, I was watching, you know, Tough Tuesday, you know, and the last fight those guys had with the veterans and the rookies.
Yeah, the guy was winning the fight for 2.5 rounds.
The whole fight,
the whole
2.5
fight,
rounds. Next thing you know,
next thing you know, he's tapping. A minute left, you know.
A minute and 37 seconds of submission was done. Fight's over. You beat the crap out of that man for nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how the UFC goes.
That's the fight game.
That's the fight game.
That's the fight. You know? Hey, let me get real quick. Hey, so I got in the main event. I'm riding with the pound for pound champ, Alexander Volkanovski is still UFC featherweight champion of the world. Alexander Volkanovski.
All right, is there any other matchup on the card that you just think is going to be a good fight?
I do think that featherweight fight's going to be good. I think you're going to see a lot of action. I don't think we're going to see a lot of fights. I think every card on the main card, I think, is going to be good. I could see the Robert Whittaker DDP fight go all 3 rounds, Scott. I think you could see the distance on it, but I think Whit still wins. So yeah, I think they're all going to be pretty good, Johnny. I really do. I think that'll be a stand-up fight. Whittaker and DDP will be a stand-up. DDP doesn't go on the ground.
That's the one I was going to pick, the same one. If any fight's going to be, in my opinion, going to be fight of the night worthy, possibly, it'll be that one. That's for me. That's one for me.
Okay. You guys have any thoughts on the women's fight?
I was just about to ask that. Good job.
Yeah. It's on the prelims. You talking?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yasmin Urigal against Denise Gomez.
yeah.
Yasmin Urigal and Denise Gomez. Okay, so Denise Gomez fought in another promotion that I oftentimes watch on YouTube. I think that was last year, and she is one of those sneaky, don't get a chick on the mat, I'm going to break her ankle type chicks. so I like that one.
Right.
In my opinion, let's look at it. It's
She's 10-0. She's 10-0.
She's
10-0.
And they got her what 310 in DraftKings 320
minus 400.
Minus 400 now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah! Wow. Okay.
No upset. No upset.
No, I don't see it either, Scott. And then I do like this. The opener on the prelims, Jimmy Cruz, is a pretty tough dog. He's a tough too, and this fight could go either way. Alonzo Minfield's a guy who's trying to get into the rankings. He's 13-3. They're trying to run this back. Actually, these guys had a draw a while back, and they're running it right back.
Cruz and Minfield, right?
Yeah. That the first time was a great fight, and it was a draw. So now they're running it back, and we'll see him again.
Nice. You know, every once in a while, you know, you get one of those fights where if you're watching the prelims, just like the last time, the prelims leading up to the main card was
better than the main card. Was
damn near, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Damn near. And I was at work, you know, watching it on my phone, you know, because it was in Jacksonville in the daytime. So I'm looking forward to watching the prelims because, you know, and Bodkins, you know, you tagged me in something the other day, whereas you were saying, should they start separating the main card and the prelims as far as post-fight bonuses? Sometimes in real life, man, the guys on the prelims on that bottom card, man, you know, there's nobody in there. The arena's empty. They're fighting for their family, their lives. They got to go back to working at Amazon warehouse when this is over. I think they deserve, you know, their own sets of bonuses after these fights because, you know, it's a different dynamic when, you know, hey, I'm just coming from my local promotion in Texas. I just beat a guy 4 months ago. I need to pay my mortgage, and my wife's going to leave me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Those things make huge benefits towards those fighters, and so
you got to remember some of those guys are doing 12-12 too. So you get 12,000 to show, which means you just show up to make weight, right? So you get 12,000 for that. Then if you win, you get another 12,000. So you're only getting 24,000 if you're just starting out in the UFC. So some of these guys on the prelims, it's only 24,000 that'll get punched in the face, and that's not including taxes. You know, you pay your gym fees and all that, and then you're walking away with maybe, you know,
7,000-8,000.
Yeah. If you're
7-8 concussion, busted eye socket, all that stuff.
Right.
Okay, fighter's a different animal.
I gotta pay my trainer. I got Obamacare when I go home. You know, that doesn't cover my broken toe.
Exactly. There's no insurance. You know what I mean? No insurance. Like it's wild.
What? There's no insurance?
Nah.
No.
If you get hurt in the ring, if you get hurt in the octagon, the UFC takes care of you on their shit, like their doctors and stuff.
Right.
But if you get hurt outside or training, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they don't take care of nothing.
On the next
guy. And see, that's something, and that's a great idea because, you know, somebody went to the UFC bigs and said, hey, look, I want to represent everybody, and we should redo the contract so we can have insurance. And unfortunately, that guy is no longer in the UFC, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Whit, what do you guys got before we get you out of here? What do you guys got going on off the rec room?
Hey, man, you know what's funny? I actually got something going on with you we got to talk about.
Man.
Hey, so hey, look, the whole gang is invited. You know, myself, my man Tanner from LTS, Jay, and Bodkins, we're gonna have a quick powwow sometime this weekend. We want to have a quick, you know, sort of like a rec room introduction. Everybody gets to join in. We're gonna have a great conversation about things we all talk about already: basketball, football, off season. You know, who's gonna go where, and the thing is, we said probably when we want to wait until maybe next week to try and do it because who knows what could happen in that week's time. Dame may go somewhere. Harden may go somewhere. You know,
Are you talking next weekend?
Yeah, we didn't solidify it.
Okay,
but,
well, I mean, this is the first time hearing about it. You're telling my name, so like, I was like, shit, did I get a
surprise? Yes, I was going to ask you, did you want to come? But,
hey, you put me on the spot, so put me on air, so now I can't say no. You know what I mean? You know, I'm there for you, brother.
It's very unprofessional. Those guys in Rec Room. Very.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. I just spilled the beans, but yeah, I wanted to get together with you guys, try and get everybody in on a quick convo. And if it all pays off, you know what I'm saying, we're going to get the ball rolling on the Rec Room like season 10 as soon as we can get everybody situated and launched off. So I appreciate you guys for bringing me back on again, man. I always have a great conversation.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Check me out on Twitter at your boy K Whit. That's me tagging y'all and all that craziness. Okay? I'm sorry. You know.
Hey,
watch more movies, everybody. Watch more movies.
No, don't give me that movie talk. All right, that was the longest thread of my life. I
was like, but you haven't seen this. You didn't see that?
No, it was impressive, your knowledge of all these movies about guys surviving and being alone in the wilderness and whatnot, but dang, homie.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I was like, come on, dog. You ain't never come on. Will Smith by himself 2 times. You know what I'm saying? One time. You know what I'm saying? Leonardo DiCaprio in the woods, he fights a bear. Okay?
I know. I loved it. I was loving it. I'm just like, I'm not really feeling it.
I don't know if you were
going to let it go. Fight. You're like, listen.
Yeah, he didn't really fight the bear.
I don't know if he really fought the bear.
He got mauled by bears.
If it was a fight, the bear whipped his ass.
The bear got him. You know,
that's hard to watch.
He's like a carcass. He sleeps in a horse. Like, I thought it was just deep. I was like, man, you know what? That's acting for me. But
we call that a squash match in wrestling. You know, we call that a squash match in wrestling.
Well, look, tomato. Everybody's got their thing.
Hey, we'll try to get you on Sunday to kind of recap of this UFC 290 too. So I'll holler at you then. All right.
No doubt, man. Everybody, y'all stay safe, and thanks for bringing me on. Can't wait to do it again, guys.
Always, brother. Hey, give it up for Big Whit, buddy. Hey, give it up for Whit from Rec Room Sports, baby. We'll catch you next time. We appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
He's the boy.
Hey, let's go ahead and we'll get our goodbyes out of here. Johnny, start us off, as you're in the depression den, going to move into a new depression den. So hopefully you get to catch some UFC fights this Saturday.
Oh, no, I'm definitely going to catch that. I'll get everything that I need to get done during the day so that way I can enjoy the evening of people just beating the hell out of each other. Definitely going to want to get with you after the show so I know where your bet's at. I may throw a few dollars on those fights just to make it a little bit more interesting. But no, looking forward to that. Yeah, definitely looking forward to moving. So hopefully by next Monday, next Thursday, I'll be in my new spot and I can set everything up with the way I want to set it up. But looking forward to it. Always a good time here with you guys. So looking forward to this weekend and watching some fights, like I said, on Saturday, and then talking about it Sunday morning. We'll have a new Cruz in top 5 on Sunday morning. So it's gonna be a lot of fun, man. Definitely check us out. If you're new, hit the subscribe, smash the like, click on the little bell before we get out of here. Let me do this quick promo code real quick. Let me tell you about our friends over at Underdog. You can download the app, or you can go to underdog.com, use the promo code LTS, and they will match you up to $100 deposit. Once again, Underdog, download the app or go to underdog.com. Make sure you use the promo code LTS. They will match you up to $100 deposit. So definitely check that out.
Scott, we'll go to Sam first. Sam, give us your nice, lovely goodbye that you always do.
Kind word can go a long way to some people. I bring this up because I saw footage of Cody Rhodes talking to Paul Heyman in the ring. And he talked about how Paul, when he was in charge of ECW, let Dusty come on for an appearance. And he said it just did wonders for his dad, to where it was just an appearance for Paul. It did wonders for Dusty's confidence and whatnot. And you just never know when little small things you can do can just make somebody's day. So There you go.
Well said, Sam.
Well said, Sam. Well said.
Scott, go ahead and give us our gambling. Who we betting on tomorrow, and your final goodbyes.
Goodbye. No, I'm just kidding.
First, is this the goodbye or
this is the goodbye? No,
but at Scott's advanced age, we never know.
Yeah, this is
Sam
it.
talked about Undertaker and Mick Foley last week and their special. Foley is pod. He talked about the backstory of the match and what happened and how Terry Funk came out and Vince came out and he tried to get the Undertaker to do it. He talked to him for 2 weeks. So I would listen to that podcast. I listened to it at work last night. It was really, really good. I enjoyed it. That's number one. Number two, people got to do a wellness check on Allen because his Rangers are about to lose to the Red Sox and lose the series. So that's
man, you told me to pick. You told me to pick the Rangers, bro.
Yeah, I know.
I don't care about hurting Allen's feelings. I want to win some money.
I'm tweeting Allen right now, but no joke.
So tomorrow, Red Sox on the money line. Texas on the money line. I'm going to go back to Texas. They're playing Washington. Washington's not that good. They just got swept by the Reds. Baltimore, Minnesota under the run total. They played 3 games in Baltimore last weekend. 2 of them went under the run total. Minnesota's a really good pitcher staff. Can't hit the way out of the paper bag. And the Cincinnati Reds pitcher, Abbott, over 5.5 strikeouts tomorrow night. So those are the 4 I got.
You do those all in a parlay, Scott, or you separate?
No, straight bet. Straight. For anybody that – so here's the deal. Anybody that is just starting out in betting, never do a parlay. Just do straight bets until you get really good at it, and then go to the parlay.
Well, Scott, that's why we come to you. You're really good at it, so we're good to put it on a parlay. Got it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm good to put it on a parlay.
that would have been good to know from jump, Scott. I've been doing all these parlays.
You might have 4 or 5 games that you really like, that you really think are going to come through, but there's always one that screws you in the end.
All right, so you always do separate bets, individual bets.
You get more money in the parlay, but again, you have to win all the legs. You can't lose one, or you lose your bet. So,
all
right.
That's it.
Well, this has been another great episode of the Bodkins Show. The Let's Talk Sports Show. Hey, we missed you guys Monday. We'll be back Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern. Please check us out, like, subscribe, share. This has been a great show. I enjoy talking UFC, and I enjoy actually you guys chiming in and learning, because there's just something about being able to share my knowledge of everything. And there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of knowledge of things. So, all right, Rios. So, hey, I don't know what Carlos did to you guys. There's trouble in the Just Fans podcast. But
do you want to put it on blast?
It's like the judge. It's like the Judgment Day breaking apart. It's happening right before.
And if you missed it, I was on the Just Fans podcast with me and Carlos talking wrestling last night. So please check that out. Also, I was on Cobe Confidential last night as well on whatever network that team is that we been partnering up with. What are they called?
Sideline Sports.
Sideline Sports.
You know those.
Shout out Dan Harris.
Shout out Dan Harris. I'll be back with Dan tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Time
for the
call-in show. So please check that out as well. Looking forward to that as well. So we'll see y'all on Sunday. Be a friend, tell a friend, folks. Like, subscribe, share. Again, I enjoy watching UFC, talking UFC with you guys. Shout out to Whit. We'll holler at you Sunday morning, folks. UFC 290 Saturday night. We'll see you then. See ya. Johnny, hit that outro, baby.
That's the way you do it.
Life better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep.